Grab your parasol, kids. Here's everything that happened in the Umbrella Academy Season 1.
I could, clear my schedule.
You better, my dude. We got a lot to cover. Nutty billionaire Reginald Hargreaves adopts 7 superpowered babies, all born on the same day, during a global phenomenon where women who weren't pregnant suddenly gave birth. His goal? Mold them into the superhero team called the Umbrella Academy. Their powers? Luther is super strong, Diego can manipulate thrown objects, Allison has mind control, Klaus talks to the dead, 5 teleports, Ben has pocket universe monster tentacles, and Vanya can play violin.
I'm afraid there's just nothing special about you.
Ouch! Over the years, the family grows apart, but after Hargreaves dies under mysterious circumstances, the siblings reunite, minus Ben, who's now dead, and 5, who went missing 17 years ago. They return to the Umbrella Academy mansion, which is maintained by Hargreaves' chimp assistant Pogo and their robot mom Grace, for the funeral and a dance party.
I think we're alone now.
But this is interrupted when 5 makes his triumphant return.
So, are we gonna talk about what just happened?
Jesus, I'm literally doing it right now. Keep up. Turns out that 5's lack of teleporting experience got him trapped in the future. He finally figures out how to return, but as a 58-year-old, stuck in a 13-year-old's body. After a run-in with some hired guns at a donut shop, 5 tells Vanya that his urgent return is because the world is going to end in 8 days.
I'll put on a pot of coffee.
Good thinking, sis, because it's gonna be a long week. Apparently 5 doesn't come back from the future totally empty-handed. He's got a prosthetic eyeball that he thinks belongs to whoever caused the apocalypse, a clue which may help in his efforts to stop it. Meanwhile, we find out that Diego stole Hargreaves' monocle, but only to protect their robot mother Grace, who he suspects killed their father because she's on the fritz.
Eggs are ready.
Scrambled, just like your circuits. After Allison sees some incriminating security footage of Grace, Diego is forced to reveal he took the monocle, then makes the difficult decision to turn her off. Pogo reactivates Grace all of 2 days later, imploring her not to tell the team the truth. In order for 5 to save the world, he needs to outmaneuver Cha-Cha and Hazel. The pair are time-traveling assassins sent to kill 5 by the Commission, 5's employer from the future whose mission is to maintain the timeline.
Where does it end?
When we retire or die.
Corporate life in a nutshell, folks. Cha-Cha and Hazel catch up with 5 in the present during his romantic reunion with his mannequin girlfriend Dolores.
I've missed you.
A shootout ensues, but 5 manages to escape despite having some difficulties with teleporting. Performance issues! Hate to see it. And if you thought 5 dating a mannequin was a weird love story, buckle up, because siblings Luther and Allison have their own awkward romance going on. Vanya starts growing close to her new violin student Leonard, who's clearly a big creep, and Hazel finds love with the donut shop waitress Agnes because she speaks his language, food.
The secret's in the jelly.
He wasn't ready for the jelly! Agnes snitches on 5 and leads Cha-Cha and Hazel to the mansion, where they engage in a battle with the Academy. In all the chaos, Hazel and Cha-Cha manage to kidnap Klaus. They torture him, but Klaus is a bit of a freak, so it makes the whole job a little difficult.
Is that a...
Yep.
Without drugs or alcohol to dim his powers, Klaus can't keep the talking dead at bay, which helps Hazel and Cha-Cha finally get some answers out of him. The ghost of their brother Ben encourages Klaus to chit-chat with all of Cha-Cha and Hazel's victims, while the assassins head to the lab where the eyeballs, are made to burn the whole mother down, setting 5 way back on his plan to save the world. Diego's ex-detective Patch follows clues from the arson site back to the motel and ends up getting killed by Hazel and Cha-Cha. Diego finds her body and we get a very sad David Gray interlude.
When you hold like you do.
No, you're crying. In the fray, Klaus escapes and discovers Hazel and Cha-Cha's time machine briefcase, and accidentally winds up in the 1960s fighting in the Vietnam War. Not the weirdest thing to happen on public transit, he eventually returns to the present, a broken man after watching his lover die in battle, but determined to stay sober. 5 and Luther meet up with Cha-Cha and Hazel in order to work out a bargain. They want the briefcase, 5 wants to speak to the handler, who's the head of the commission. Despite Klaus and Diego trying to derail the negotiations,
It's a setup!
the handler and 5 come to an agreement that 5 will return to work at the commission, but the brothers swindle Cha-Cha and Hazel, giving them a fake time machine. 5's new job in management isn't as exciting as being a time assassin, but he does use the role to do some scheming of his own, switching out Hazel and Cha-Cha's assignment to protect Harold Jenkins with directives to kill each other, something both assassins struggle to follow through on.
I'd appreciate it if you would accept my wishes and we could go on our own separate ways.
Right. No chance of that. 5 returns to rally the team, but Luther has descended into a drunken bender because he wasted his life on the moon. When Klaus tries to help him, he gets knocked out in the process. Klaus goes to a pseudo afterlife where he meets God and also gets a shave from his dear old dead daddy-o.
Careful.
You're already dead.
Hargreaves admits he took his own life in order to reunite the team, but doesn't admit that he's probably an alien from another planet? Maybe he was about to, but Klaus is forced back to the land of the living where his siblings are trying to figure out what to do with the info Five learned at the commission.
Who the hell is Harold Jenkins?
Exactly. Well, guess what? It's f***ing Leonard. He was born on the same day as the Umbrella Academy and through twisted logic thinks he's one of them, even begging to join the team at one point. Bitter and riled up from a terrible childhood, he kills his dad, goes to prison, is released as an adult, then immediately begins stalking the Umbrella Academy. He discovers Vanya has powers thanks to an old notebook of Hargreaves tossed out by Klaus.
What the hell is happening?
You happen.
Leonard's plan? Get close to Vanya in order to help her manifest her powers, which includes staging his own assault. Vanya slowly begins to remember that her father knew of her abilities, but was afraid of her powers and subsequently drugged her in order to quell them. Allison tries to warn Vanya about Leonard, but is forced to admit she used her mind control on Vanya, so she would believe she wasn't extraordinary. In a fit of anger, Vanya slits Allison's throat, but Allison's brothers arrive just in time to save her. When Vanya finally discovers Hargreaves' journal, she realizes that Leonard has been manipulating her the entire time. She wants to bolt, but he won't let her, which is the worst idea. She kills him. You made this bed, Leonard. Now die in it. The brothers find Leonard's body, and that's when Five realizes the prosthetic eye must be Leonard's, a result of the staged assault. It doesn't exactly add up, but yay? They stopped the apocalypse? Not that Vanya is in a mood to celebrate.
I didn't mean to hurt her.
Sure, and I didn't mean to buy 12 cases of coconut LaCroix. It's the worst flavor, but I hate myself. The brothers lock up Vanya, but Allison lobbies for her release, despite Vanya's assault robbing her of her voice and subsequently her powers. But ultimately, the group is steered by Luther to keep her imprisoned. Cause guess what? Luther sucks. He's the worst. Vanya's anger helps her unlock her full powers. Basically, her family is so screwed at this point.
I understand how upset you are.
No, you don't. Vanya takes her rage out on Pogo and destroys the whole mansion, with Grace inside. Five realizes that Vanya might just be the cause of the apocalypse, which is exactly what the commission wants. The team comes after Vanya at her orchestra concert, and Vanya unleashes a power blast that outshines her performance. The commission goons arrive at the theater, Five finally shows up to help, and Klaus is getting a burrito? Klaus and Ben get their shit together, and Klaus harnesses his power to make Ben corporeal, allowing him to take out the commission soldiers with his ghost monster tentacles. Meanwhile, Hazel betrays Cha-Cha, again, then kills the handler so he can use the briefcase to escape with Agnes. Cha-Cha trucks on with her assignment, leading to a fistfight with Diego. However, he ultimately decides to spare her life to honor Patch's memory. Vanya gains power and transforms into the supervillain, the White Violin. As Vanya gains the upper hand, Allison shoots a gun near her ear, startling Vanya and directing her energy blast upwards.
We did it. We saved the world.
But they didn't, because the energy blast hits the moon. F***ing damn it, guys. You had one job, to stop the apocalypse. Instead, the moon explodes and large fragments come tumbling to Earth.
That's not good.
Yerp. Time to think fast, guys. Wait, time. Five theorizes they can use his abilities to jump back in time and plans to bring them all along. As Earth is destroyed, Hazel and Agnes use the time travel briefcase to escape certain death, Cha-Cha takes a firewall to the face, and the Umbrella Academy warp cycles into their younger selves while time jumping at the last second, surviving the apocalypse and living to fight another day. Whew. And that's everything that happened in Season 1. What do you think Season 2 holds for the Umbrella Academy? Will they save Vanya? Will Allison get her voice back? Let us know in the comments.